This right here is a Labubu, a Chinese doll that went mega viral this year. And this right here is a tulip, a colorful flower that blooms in the spring. At first, those two objects don't seem related. One's a monster doll often dressed in Gucci, the other was planted 9 million times for the filming of Wicked. But when we look a level deeper, these two objects are symbols of obsession, of the economic mania that happens when we pluck some object from the culture and we make it a moment that everyone wants to be a part of. A lot of you have probably heard of tulip mania before. It was a period in the 1630s Dutch Republic where tulips had become so popular and in demand that people willingly forked over as much as the modern equivalent of hundreds of thousands of dollars for rare tulip bulbs. And guess what happened just this summer in our precious year of 2025? We saw a rare human-sized Labubu sold for more than $150,000. The parallels are right in front of us. They are both objects that shouldn't be worth much and yet somehow are. Because of microtrends fueled by mob mentality and perceived value, their popularity and price tags skyrocketed, at least temporarily. Tulip mania lasted only a year, and it looks like the Labubu doll craze might not even make it that long. Because my friends, it is happening. The downfall of Labubus is finally here. If you've followed my channel for a while now, you know that this is not the first time I have talked about Labubus. After my downfall of Stanley Cups video, a bunch of you commented that I needed to cover Labubus next. That was in mid-May, and it marked the first time I'd ever heard about the Labubu trend. After that, it seemed like the craze hit a real mainstream. I made a video soon after explaining the Labubu craze, and crazy enough, it actually became one of the top Google results for when you looked up what a Labubu is. And then again in July, I made a video about how the Labubu obsession was getting even worse. Things like Labubu tattoo artists, Labubu braces, and Labubu designer clothes were hitting the market. And during that video, I actually made the prediction that the rise of these niche services for Labubus marked the beginning of the end for the trend. Just like I think the craziness around Labubu accessories and services are a sign that Labubus are hitting their peak and possibly starting their downfall. My theory being that every micro trend follows the same trend cycle, and the very end of the peak happens whenever people are running out of ways to milk the trend. For a while, Labubus were novel and interesting. They were these weird creatures you stuck on your backpack with a funny name. Then everyone knows about it. It becomes fun to see who has different, unique Labubus. The hunt for more and more rare ones takes place, and then you have to find weirder ways to keep it novel, like tattooing a Labubu or selling a human-sized one for 6 figures. Eventually, you run out of new angles to approach this trend, people get bored, and eventually they move on. On the topic of moving on though, something that we should not move on from is maintaining our digital privacy, which is exactly what today's sponsor, Delete Me, does. That's right, my friends, that was my attempt at a smooth transition into our sponsored segment for today. Delete Me is the best. For one, they have been amazing supporters of this channel, but not only that, their service is genuinely so valuable in today's internet world because what Delete Me does is help keep your personal information off of internet search results. Have you ever had a crush before and you look up their name and then 10 minutes later you are virtually touring their parents' house on Zillow? Not only that, but you also know their parents' names, their names, email addresses, phone numbers, all that jazz, because admittedly, I have done that, and I'm not even exaggerating. I'm dead serious here. It's embarrassing, but it's because it is so easy to find people's personal information online now. Data brokers are constantly storing and selling your information, and this makes it so easy for others to get. Whether it's scammers or stalkers or mildly creepy people who have a crush on you, but luckily, Delete Me offers a way to clean up all of that information. Delete Me's experts find and remove your personal information throughout the year, and every quarter you'll receive a report showing you all the places they've scrubbed your information from. It's a great way to protect yourself online and also family members who you want to protect too, say grandparents or parents, people who might be more susceptible to scams. So if you want to protect your personal information and receive your very own privacy report, right now you can use my discount code Cara for 20% off. That's code Cara, C-A-R-A, at joindeleteme.com/Cara, which I'll also link down below. Go check out Delete Me to protect yourself, and thank you so much to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so looking at a trend cycle chart. If I had to place our current moment on a chart, I would say we are about halfway through the decline stage now for Labubus. In a few months, I predict we will be firmly in the obsolescence stage. Sure, there are going to be some people who still have them or are still buying them, or are self-proclaimed collectors who promise that one day they'll be worth something, just like the people in the early 2000s thought Beanie Babies would be worth something. But for the most part, I think the zeitgeist will have moved on. And this isn't just some wishful thinking. I dug into the data and found an evidence-backed case that supports Labubus are falling. For one, just look at Google Trend data, which shows us how often people are Googling something. Searches for Labubus were on the rise until midsummer of this year, and ever since then, searches have been going down. From that, we can infer that people just are not as interested in learning about or finding Labubus. And in a world of microtrends that is heavily reinforced by word of mouth, that is a very bad sign. But that's not the only stat I found. There were several others that show that this trend is collapsing in on itself, such as Pop Mart, the creator of Labubus, admitting that resale numbers are declining, which according to analysts could be a sign that scalpers are nervous that people won't be buying as many Labubus in the future, thus they want to get rid of their inventory. On top of that, Pop Mart's stock price is falling. Look at this year-to-date graph of their stock and how since the end of August, things have been going down. There's actually some similarities in the Google Trend graph and the stock graph, which I thought was very interesting. And you might be thinking, well, their stock might just be going down because the whole market's going down. And to that I say, I do appreciate that you're looking into those questions because correlation does not always equal causation. But there's more to the story. Take a look at this index fund, VTIAX. VTIAX is a low-cost index fund that basically combines all these top international stocks, and it's a really good reflection of how the overall stock market is doing internationally. You can see that VTIX has been on the up and up almost all year. Its growth doesn't mirror the peak and valley situation that Pop Mart stock is seeing. From this, it's fair to say that Pop Mart is experiencing unique challenges, aka the Labubu is going out. Yes, indeed, you did just reach the point in the video with the lamest joke. Congratulations for getting this far. I'm proud that we are in this together. Bad jokes and data aside, we also have anecdotal evidence of Labubus falling out of fashion. We're starting to see Labubus show up in thrift stores and dumpsters. And why? This meme does a good job of capturing it. People throwing away their $200 Labubus the second a new TikTok consumable emerges in a couple of months. Funnily enough, that meme was posted at the end of July, and it's been almost 2 months, a little over 2 months, and we're having this conversation now. The question is, what is going to be this next consumerist trend that everyone's obsessed with? We've had Stanley Cups, we've had Labubus, so what's next? If you have any guesses, by the way, leave them in the comments. In a way, it's sad to see Labubus have their downfall moment. Not so much because I care about Labubus in particular, but because it shows us yet again how ephemeral our obsessions are. Our consumption habits are frankly disgusting. We buy so much junk in the name of a cute trend or being a collector or because, oh, it's so cheap, why not? It's gross, and we need to have more shame in what we are doing to our wallets and our planet. That was my whole spiel in the viral video about how consumerism destroys our planet and wallets, and 4 years later, we are still in the thick of overconsumption. I feel like we're at least starting to have more conversations, and that is a start, but that is not enough. We cycle through so many microtrends every single year. From getting the newest iPhone even when your current one from last year is completely fine, or whether it's buying into one of the 52 fast fashion microtrends that happen per year. That means on average we are seeing one fashion microtrend every single week. That is ridiculous. Nobody needs that many styles in their closet. Or whether it's the microtrends of weird accessories that go viral online that suddenly everyone needs to have, because if we don't, we feel like we're missing out, like we're not part of the in crowd. The thing about microtrends is that they eventually die off, leaving us with junk in our closets that could have been real money, that could have helped you pay for that unexpected emergency that pops up or help you retire years earlier than normal. And microtrends do not just die off, they die off fast. If you want to release yourself from the mob mentality that gets us buying things like Labubus constantly, remind yourself that every single microtrend is simply an opportunity to strip you of all of your uniqueness and all of your financial security. Or better yet, remember that the only true trend is that every single trend will eventually die. I know, very meta. Amassing junk like Labubus might feel good in the moment, but ultimately it's part of a larger system of hyperconsumption. There's a metric known as Earth Overshoot Day, which helps us measure consumption over time. The idea is that every year we have an overshoot day, and that's the date on which humanity's consumption of resources exceeded the planet's ability to regenerate those resources within the year. In 1974, Overshoot Day fell on December 27th, meaning we were nearly consuming at the same exact rate as regeneration. But as of last year in 2024, Overshoot Day fell on August 1st. That means we would need 1.7 Earths to provide enough resources to match our modern consumption. I'm not saying that the rise and fall of Labubus are to blame for this, but they are a fantastic case study of how our overconsumption cycles play out in real time. It is crazy to me how quickly the obsession started, took over, and is now falling apart. It has been months, and in the process, I'm guessing millions and millions of Labubus and Lafufus foo-foos, plus all the accessories that come along with them have been pumped out. And where are they gonna go? The same place that Beanie Babies, Silly Bands, Stanley Cups, Sunny Angels, fidget spinners, or random celebrity and corporate merch all eventually go. Landfills. Miles and miles of landfills, often in countries that didn't even consume the products in the first place. Those countries end up paying the price for our ridiculous and insatiable consumption appetite. I know we have gotten very serious on a video about toothy monster dolls, but the reason that I keep making videos like this on my channel about Labubus or Stanley Cups or whatever other weird trend comes along is because I really hope that these kinds of videos can help nudge us slowly toward a better future. There's a quote I like that goes, "The only way to change culture is to make more of it." And so this is my attempt to make more culture, to create video essays that hopefully shift the cultural conversations even just a little bit. Because every time we film a huge unboxing video or a Labubu haul or Temu shopping spree, we create culture that reinforces a terrible, unsustainable lifestyle. And so my ask of all of you watching is go and be a cultural creator for good. This doesn't mean you have to make videos, by the way. Creating culture can also be how you act in your day-to-day or the conversations you have with friends. But whatever way that you create culture, let's all try to create culture that moves us slowly towards a more conscious consumerist world, into a place where people don't seek identity and community through $50 plushies that end up in landfills months later, into a world where maybe people don't have to make video essays about every single rise and fall of random trends so that you can encourage people to be more financially and environmentally responsible. The downfall of Labubus might finally be here, but we have unfortunately not reached the downfall of overconsumption yet. But maybe one by one, we can start learning our lesson. We can start thinking about all the money that can be saved and trash that can be spared in the world if we stop buying into the constant cycle of viral microtrends. So to Labubus, farewell for now, hopefully forever. You've been a very fun subject for me to pick on, and I am sure I'm gonna continue picking on whatever comes in to replace you. I would love to hear what you guys think about the fall of Labubus. First off, do you guys even think it's here, or do you think we're gonna see some renaissance of Labubus in a few months or a year from now? And more importantly, what do you think about this constant cycle of microtrends, whether it's Labubus or Stanley Cups or something else? What are your thoughts on how we eventually move away from this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and what topics you want to see me cover next. A big thank you again to Delete Me for always supporting this channel, as well as those on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to see more videos of mine, be sure to subscribe. You can also check out my Instagram, where I am posting a lot more short form content on like financial stuff and little sketches. So go check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.